Well, we are back with some more news scraps to claw at and speculate over. Hasn't been too long since we got the news that Amy Hennig would be leading the charge of a new World War II themed Marvel game, and already we are now told about what the future of games has in store for Tony Stark himself, Iron Man. So let's go over what little facts we have and maybe take a quick detour down Speculation Avenue. Okay, let's do it. Earlier today, EA and Motive Studio announced a brand new Iron Man game is in early development. Now, what do we know about this Iron Man game? Well, we don't know the title, I'll tell you that much, but we know it's a single-player, third-person action-adventure game. And as I alluded to when I said who announced the game, the development of the game will be handled by Motive Studio. Now, this is not a world-renowned dev team, so you might be wondering who that is and what they've done. And so they did help DICE out a little bit on the development of Star Wars Battlefront 2, the 2017 game, not the original, but that was primarily DICE, and Motive just acted as a support studio. When it comes to games that Motive has done themselves, we're pretty much only looking at one fucking game, and that game is Star Wars Squadrons. If you don't know it, this was a Star Wars game that strictly focused on the aerial/space combat of the franchise. It was released a few years ago in 2020, and I believe it was released the same day as Crash Bandicoot 4, which couldn't have helped it. Either way, I did play Star Wars Squadrons, and I can't say I liked it very much, but let me say this, it wasn't really a quality issue, it was an idea and genre issue. Flying around in circles trying to shoot people in an aerial dogfight can only be so fun in any game, if you ask me. So I don't really think it mattered what they did. They picked something that sounds fun on paper, but in practice has never actually been that fun. And they did a lot. This is probably the most in-depth and immersive a sci-fi pilot game could possibly be. You know, you're activating your deflector shields and redirecting energy into your thrusters or your blasters and all that kind of shit. It really does just put you right in the boots of those Star Wars pilots. You feel just like they do, I assume. And yet, it's just not a good game. So I'm not exactly ready to write the studio off because of what I perceive to be a less than exemplary game, because if they put all that Star Wars Squadrons effort into a more naturally fun concept, we might get something nice. And that something nice could be this Iron Man game. And like I said, the depth of the ship mechanisms and stuff in Squadrons was very thoughtfully crafted, and a lot of that is directly transferable over to Iron Man. So it seems clear to me that Motive Studio at least has some of the know-how that would come with developing an Iron Man game. Whether or not they have all the know-how remains to be seen. Another thing about Motive is they're also developing the upcoming Dead Space remake. Now, I wasn't including that as a reference for what we can expect from this Iron Man game for obvious reasons. The Dead Space remake isn't out yet, we've seen almost nothing of it. It's a remake of an already successful game that they did not originally develop, so even if it was out and it was great, it's hardly an indication that they can craft a wholly original piece of content, you know? So yeah, them developing Dead Space remake is more or less irrelevant to this news if you ask me. It's also said that development of this Iron Man game is being led by Olivier Preux. I hope I said that right because it's spelled French as fuck and I'm not French, but Olivier was also a senior producer on the Guardians of the Galaxy game from last year, a game that was received well critically, but unfortunately suffered from poor marketing under the shadow of the Marvel's Avengers flop. So perhaps Olivier was an important part of Guardians being a good game. Maybe they'll have some know-how when it comes to approaching the Marvel Universe in game form, only time will tell. And also, this is EA published, and I know Anthem was a horrible flop, but a lot of people felt that the flying was one of the only good things from that game, and that it felt very Iron Man-like. So I wonder if the people at Motive will bother to ask BioWare about that good old Anthem flight. But who could blame them if they don't want to take anything from that trash fire? Anyway, that's all I've got to say. Let me know what you think of all this. You looking forward to this Iron Man game? Do you trust EA not to put a Jarvis slot machine right in the the fucking helmet. Either way, let me know. But until next time, I am Waifu Belector. I am just a normal guy. I like hentai, and I am Iron Man. Remember that? Black Sabbath, I think? I don't know. Alright, goodbye.